As INFJs, we get to a point where we feel like we've done it all. We're staying responsible with the people that we're interacting with. We're showing up. We're being kind. We're being respectful. We're taking care of everything that has to be taken care of. But we know it's just complete. It doesn't fulfill us. There's something more. And it's about time that we step into a bigger version of ourselves. The problem is, though, how are we going to do this? It's not that something is wrong. You're not broken. You're not being dramatic. You're just complete at that level. You know this feeling. You've outgrown your life. Maybe it's your job. Maybe it's your relationships. Maybe it's your identity. You just haven't said it out loud yet. You're not ungrateful. You're not impulsive. You've just evolved. So let's talk about the 5 signs that this is happening so you can stop pretending to yourself and start aligning. Before we get started, I want to remind you, if you haven't done this so far, to download the free poster on INFJ Mastery. And if you want to take it to the next level, then check out my other programs through the links in the description. Sign number 1, you keep daydreaming about a version of you that is free. When we have outgrown our current life, we escape in our mind. You know, as INFJs, we can use our intuition to come up with ideas, to come up with scenarios. But the problem is that if you know there's more to achieve, there's more of who you're becoming. And I'm not talking about achieving as in, oh, there's some external thing I want, but it's really about how you show up as yourself. And we all grow all the time. And as INFJs, if we feel like we have the idea of what it could be, how we could feel, but we haven't really aligned our life with that, then we escape in our mind. And this is something that can lead to this typical NITI loop. This is the whole thing of like detaching from life, so to say. And I had this for a very long time, very intensely before I started this channel, before I really went in it and just showed up in a different way, right? Through me making that choice, starting those videos, I revealed something about myself that I kept hidden so far. And every single time when you keep something hidden, it goes into your intuition because there it can live freely. It cannot live in the current space yet, right? In reality. But you can change that. If you can see it in your mind, then that's a sign that you can make it happen. The point though is that you have to start with reality the way it is. How is your relationship right now? How is the job right now? How is your apartment? How you show up? How satisfied are you with that? And when you come to a place where you can confront yourself with this, where you can sit with that truth that this, what is happening right now, that's not something I'm satisfied with. A great practice that I've learned works for me, because this is like easier to understand than actually to live through, is if I ask myself, what if it never got any better? If we're using NI and, daydreaming and all of that as an escape, then it's because we think that is going to happen, but it's not going to happen unless we take actions. And so what really helped me is to look at my life, as I said. How are my relationships? How is my apartment? How is, everything that I do in my life? Also from a level of boredom, right? Or like, this is satisfying or not satisfying. And ask yourself, what if it never got any better? What if it stayed like this for the rest of my life? And the point here is to be okay with that. To first accept this. Because this is what is, right? You right now, the only way you might feel complete is because so much of you is in your imagination. But if you really become okay with the version that you are right now, that's when things start to shift. Because then you actually really touch reality. This is what's really going on. And I have this in my mind, and this can be my North Star, but I have to be okay with how I show up now. Because if we don't accept who we are right now, then we can't really evolve from that. That's the entire concept of the audio guide, by the way. So on my programs, they cover different things, but the audio guide does exactly that. It starts with first accept reality the way it is, in a way of what if it never got any better? And even if it makes you uncomfortable, like just sitting in that and then starting to be grateful, because there are people who wish they had the life that you have right now, and really start to embrace everything that you have, right? That's the first thing. And then it keeps on going, right? But this is the first sign for you to know, okay, I've just outgrown my life. Because I know there's so much more potential that I have that I'm just not tapping into, because I'm not willing to accept the version that I am right now, which is totally human, by the way. Don't get me wrong. I was really forced to that point and it was very painful, but it was the best thing I could have ever done. So if you want to grow in that way, check out the audio guide. That's really going to help you. Sign number 2, conversations feel like performance. So when we talk to people, we want to connect with them in a way that doesn't destroy the harmony, that doesn't offend anybody, that doesn't make anybody uncomfortable. But the more you know that there's more to life, there's more to who you are, the more you know that there's a part of you that you're not expressing, and I'm not talking about speaking it necessarily, just being it. The more you know that, and every single time you're not standing in that truth, every conversation is going to feel like a performance, like you're talking to people and they have no idea who you are. They don't know who you are because you haven't expressed everything that you know that you could be. Because once you do that, once you express yourself in that truth, there are going to be judgments. There are going to be people saying like, oh, that person is weird or whatever it is or whatever it may be. But when you know, well, this is what I'm aiming for, this is who I really am, it just changes everything. So if you have the impression that when you talk to people, there's constantly this feeling of, I'm just performing, I'm, being kind, but I'm not really being myself, right? When you're doing this, just have it in the back of your mind. That's a great sign that you've outgrown your current identity and your life, and it's time to evolve. Sign number 3, you're exhausted even when you're resting. So if you have the impression that no matter what you do, like you feel heavy, everything seems so hard. The reason for this is not your calendar. It's also not the fact that we as INFJs have like low strength in the real world. Yeah, in comparison to what we can come up with and how much energy we can use for our mind. And maybe we can't push so much on other people how an ESTP could, but that's not why you feel this way. You feel this way because you are misaligned. If we're not showing up authentically, and this is hard, like don't get me wrong, this is not a choice, right? This is something that you embody step by step, and it's a hard process, but just know that that's the way in. That when you dare to show more of who you are and you show it to the outside, so in a way of if somebody were to look, they would see that truth. Most people are not looking, but if you reveal that one part of you and somebody sees that, then you're going to be seen, right? And that's the moment where you say, I'm standing in my truth. This is who I am. So if you feel like you're exhausted, it's not because you have so much to do or there's so much in your calendar. It's because you're misaligned. Because the life that you're holding up right now requires so much energy because it's not 100% authentic with you. And this is not to say that you have to be 100% authentic or that you're lying to anybody, nothing like that. But every single time you lean more into who you are and you reveal yourself through your choices in real life, like I always call it externally observable fact. Somebody could look at that and would see it. Right? Those are the kind of things. You're not saying anybody can see it, but at least one person or somebody could theoretically see this about you if you reveal it. Every single time you dare to do that step, you're going to feel more in alignment. And the more in alignment you feel, the less exhausted you're going to be. So if you're in such a situation where you feel like, I'm really exhausted and like, I don't know what it is, and like my calendar, again, like is not the problem, it's that misalignment. Sign number 4, you're secretly hoping that something is going to shake everything up. As INFJs, and I remember this vividly how it was for me, there's always this thing of there's more to life. I'm not really living it. I'm not really embodying who I am. But it was like I hoped something would just happen that would get me out of there. It's not that I necessarily felt somebody else needs to save me, but on a subconscious level, I was waiting. I was waiting to step into who I really am. And I don't feel like this anymore. The moment I started living that, and again, it's not like it looked great in the beginning. It's not like somebody saw the potential that I saw in myself. It wasn't even that I thought somebody has to see my potential, but I revealed something about myself. I made a choice of, okay, I'm going to start at the bottom, but I'm going to start at the bottom of who I am. And nobody may see me, nobody may understand me, but I understand myself. And I see this, and I'm going to stay in my truth. And when you do this, there's this huge weight on you because then you've committed to your life. And you say, no matter what, this is the path I'm choosing. It might be hard, it might be invisible, but that's who I really am. And as long as I stay true to me and I take control of what I can do and I follow my purpose and my path, I'm going to be solid. Sign number 5, you feel guilty for wanting more. So often we feel like I should be grateful. I should be satisfied with my life. I have so much, I have a healthy family. I have enough to eat. I'm like doing things in the world. Like I should be happy. But if you deep down know, actually I want more, but we can't really admit that to ourselves because then we actually have to go get it. And it feels like we might be taking something away from other people if we would go and do that. But if you're in alignment, you're not taking anything away from anybody. But if you want more, then it's because you know you can have more. And with can, I'm not talking again about money specifically or recognition or anything like this. I just mean this feeling of I'm experiencing life on a bigger scale. I have really shown up for myself. We're minimizing our dreams. And every single time we're minimizing our dreams, we're not really betraying ourselves, but we're not being honest with ourselves either. INFJ growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from alignment. And you wanting more is not selfish. It's honest. And it's part of us that we have to accept if we want to evolve to the next level. We have the right to go for whatever we want in life. And there's nobody who can tell us that this is wrong, that this is selfish, that this is, obsolete, whatever it is. If you know in your heart, that's who I actually am, and I'm going to step into this, and even if nobody would see me, I would know that this is me. Once you make that first step, life becomes easier, because then, it feels so heavy on you. It really does, but it's clear as day. There's no doubt left. You've made that choice for you. And once you've made that choice and you start on your journey, it might feel lonely. It might feel like nobody understands you. But first off, we understand you, so that's a great thing. You don't have to do it by yourself. You will see examples of us showing up and being that. So you can always feel like you're not completely alone. Like even if nobody understood you, we understand you. And so when you take that step of showing up the way you are and you make a decision that no matter what, you're not going to pretend you're somebody else just to make somebody comfortable, and it might hurt them, it might make them uncomfortable, but your responsibility first and foremost is to be yourself. With that, you're bringing the biggest value to anybody you come in contact with, because then you're standing in your truth. And with that, you're giving people subconsciously the permission to do that for themselves as well. If they want to take it or not, if they are comfortable enough or not, like everybody has their different path in life. But when you show up as authentically as you possibly can, not that we can do it all the time, but we can lean into it, right? The more you do that, the more you become a mirror to everybody that comes into contact with you. And there will be people who will judge you. There will be people who say you're an outcast, you're completely weird, all of that. But if you stand in your truth, you're golden. Because at the end of the day, if people were in alignment with who they are right now, they wouldn't judge you. They wouldn't look at you. They wouldn't bother with you. They would know that you're doing something that is honest to you. And if they can't see that and they judge you for it, it's because they are not able to stand in their truth yet. But you can be that. You can be that pioneer for yourself and for others in your life by saying, I'm going to bet on me. So remember, if you want that specific concept, I wasn't even thinking about it before I started this video, but this step-by-step thing is actually really the base of the audio guide. So this is something I can definitely recommend. I have a new course out, which is all about INFJ energy mastery. That can be also interesting for you. And then of course, Bootcamp is our community where we really show up as authentically as we are and we're being accepted. And I make sure it's a safe space. So everything you need to know, you can find through the links in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in line with today's topic, then check out the video you see on the screen right now. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.